all the way. Don't want to end that. All right. So welcome everybody to our information sessions. This is the third one that the COC is hosting for the year. And tonight's info session is going to focus on resources and services that give support and stability for people experiencing and facing homelessness in Pinellas County. Now, each session will take about 15 minutes, and we have five presenters. We usually have four, but we have five tonight, which is really exciting. And during the presentations, providers will share information and resources and may, if time allows, take questions right after their presentation. We will have a Q&A at the end of the information session as well. So let me move this along here. So we have presentations from the Florida Dream Center, the Pinellas County Schools Heat Team, uh, People Empowering and Restoring Communities, the Community Law Program, and Metropolitan Ministries. So I'm very excited to get that started. And our first one tonight, we're going to start off with the Florida Dream Center and Gary Webb.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Gary. Take it
Mhm.
away.
Okay. Well, thanks for the opportunity. I'm glad to have the opportunity to share with you tonight a little bit about what we get to do at the Dream Center. Go ahead and click the slide, or do I have control of that? No. Now that's me and Zelda. The next slide gives us our mission and our vision. Uh, where our vision is an empowered community where neighbors help neighbors. Um, And then the next slide just gives us kind of an overview of some of the a high view of some of the numbers. We distributed over 1.8 million pounds of food last year in Pinellas County. So we get to move a lot of food and feed a lot of people. Assisted over 16,000 that's a lot of probably mostly case management right there assists. And then in career services with workforce, we had 190 career services. So we are a nonprofit, the Florida Dream Center, and we started as a small pantry, and today we're a mobile pantry on the weekends, and then a food bank where we get to support the larger part of Pinellas County and different church pantries and assisted living facilities, and we get to help with food all over the county. That's where that 1,000,008 comes from. So we've got four programs that I'm going to talk about tonight, and I'll just kind of briefly give you a little bit on each one, and that'll be the next slide. Is Adopt a Block, which is our signature program. That's where we go out in the community, and we'll go a little deeper in that in a minute. Our mobile food bank, resident advocacy, and then the work readiness training, which the T-shirt shop is a part of that work readiness training. So we've kind of grown with our clients as we start to fill those basic needs of food and clothing and things like that. And then we grew and added the resident advocacy, and so we could connect people with services to help, whether it's ID or blue cards or food stamps or addiction services or whatever it is. And then once those needs are met, then it's time to help folks get to a place of self-sufficiency. So that's where the work readiness training program come from. So we'll talk more about that as we get there. But our adopt a block on the next slide gives us there's some pictures of us out serving in the community. So that's what we go out on Saturday morning, and we have to our distribution sites. We take food and hygiene, and you can click slide clothing, and we take to our distribution sites. We also have a work crew that goes out. So if we've got people within Lillman that have can't take care of their yard, if we help with some of the veterans and elderly who can't take care of their yard, or if they have um, issues with, if they need paint on fascia or soffit or need a gate fixed. We work real closely with code enforcement, and if code enforcement comes across somebody that they think that they can't take care of the issues that's at hand, and they think we can, a lot of times they'll call us and see if we can help the client with that, and so we get an opportunity to do that quite often. So especially with the hurricane that we just had, we're still cutting up trees in people's backyards and stacking wood. So there were a lot of people with a lot of trees in their yard. They didn't know what to do with this season. So we've been doing a lot of that. We also remove a lot of the debris in the area. So we kind of bridge the gap for a lot of those folks. And then I mentioned the mobile food bank. So that is where we go out on Saturday to our sites, and we take the food, the hygiene, the whole bit. We take one van we fill up with food, and for those, or boxes of food for those that are homebound and can't get out, can't get to our sites. We've got a van that we load up that goes out to serve those who are like living in little hotels or um, under the bridge and park benches in some cases, and don't have access to food and can't get to one of our sites. So we're able to take some ready to eat food out and help those folks. And when that goes out, we also take hygiene kits and clothing and the whole bit to help with that. So with that with the mobile food bank, we've got the three spots, and that's was part of the 1.8 million pounds of food that we talked about. And we're one of the largest, I think the fourth largest food bank in Pinellas County, so we move a lot of food. We're also an active member in VOAD, which is Volunteers of Organizations Active in Disaster. So I think Colette's on this call. Colette and I loaded up vans the day after the hurricane, and for weeks after that with food and delivered food to people who were struggling and didn't have refrigeration and didn't have a way to keep food. So we delivered food out in the community every day with that. The next program for resident advocacy, that's hard for me to say. I like to say case management. And with that, we assist people with whatever. Honestly, we've got a list of things on the slide that we assist with. We don't we try not to put ourselves in a box that we only do this or don't do that. Colette brings folks in, and between them they identify what challenges, what barriers are preventing them from succeeding to the level that they need to succeed, and everybody's at a different place. So they identify that, and then together, build a program to tackle those barriers and those challenges to try to move to the next step. So whether it's something we can help with directly, or whether we can connect them with another resource that uh that is doing it, uh, that's our goal, is to advance them to the next step. So. And most of our clients are pretty high risk clients. Well, many are homeless, and we just try to help them transition through that growth and overcome the setbacks. So Colette helps with the food stamps, Medicaid, Social Security, disability, vocational rehab, mental health services, substance, legal aid, you name it. Like I said, whatever it is, we try not to put ourselves in a box. So if there's whatever it is preventing someone from succeeding, we try to remove those barriers or help them remove the barriers. So, and once we can kind of get some of that taken care of, then we're ready for some training and sustainability, right? Getting to work. So that's how our work readiness training was born. Is that's the next step. So we're we have. a national accreditation with NCCER, where we can teach core construction and some carpentry, a level one. It's a basically carpentry. I think we gave out almost 200 nationally recognized certifications last year. We do forklift training that is results in a 3-year OSHA certification, an OSHA license. And I tell everyone that goes through that this is probably the hardest place to attain your forklift license. We've got a trainer that believes that the training should be more difficult than what you find on your first job. So folks coming out of there, they may not be the most experienced, but when they come out of that program, they know how to operate it safely and they can operate it without hurting themselves or someone else. And we're having great success with that with some of the places where we've been placing people. So um, and like I said, most of our clients, most of our clients that come through there are facing or either coming out of homelessness or come re-entering the community or just generational poverty and dysfunction. Most of them have some very serious barriers and challenges, and that's how we have grown from that basic filling that need of food and clothing through the case management and now an opportunity for for work that can actually sustain themselves and families. We do that by working with other nonprofits. So I saw Perk was going to be speaking later. We've collaborated with Perk and Operation New Hope West Care. So we like to collaborate with other nonprofits in the area that are doing some of the along the same lines, so we can work together and not recreate the wheel, but work together where and get folks working again. That's really the goal. So part of our workforce training is also the t-shirt shop. So we're doing silk screen and embroidery now for t-shirts, hats, all that good stuff. So and we're taking orders. The hurricane blew the roof off of our first place we were operating out of. So we're kind of um, we have relocated, so we've got some of it at our office, and we do some of the embroidery somewhere else. But we are taking orders again and producing the shirts and hats and things like that, and everything that comes in from that's actually our first social enterprise. All the money that comes in from our t-shirt shop goes not just back to the Dream Center, but goes specifically back to workforce training program. We're building that part of the program in to be like a second chance opportunity, like an internship to run people through. So if we've got folks that maybe have been on the street or re-entering that um, are ready to go back to work, but maybe they still need help with some of the soft skills and things before they enter the workforce. That gives us a chance to work even more closely and longer with folks to get them prepared so they can enter the workforce. So we're excited about where that's going as well. And we'd like to do your t-shirts. So remember us when you're making t-shirts or hat orders. We want to be a part of that. So our last slide just says volunteers for our volunteers. We logged 15,000 volunteer hours last year to get through this. So it takes we've got a small staff and we're going a lot of different directions and doing a lot of things, but it takes a lot of volunteer help to make that happen. So if if you're part of an organization or a group or a church that wants to come out and serve someday, whether it's in our adopt a block program or in the food pantry or whatever, we would absolutely love to entertain that. So we like to bring in groups and put together projects and stuff to work on. So do we have any questions,
Gary, this is Teresa Jones. Just a quick question.
Teresa?
Do Hi. What's your service area? Are you limited to primarily are you throughout Pinellas County or or is there a specific region? I know you mentioned Lillman, is that but I know you also do you food pantry in Tarpon, so is it throughout Pinellas County?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So When it comes to our food and our mobile food bank, I'm sorry, the food bank, we serve pretty much all of Pinellas County. We deliver food uh St. Pete up to North Clearwater for sure. Maybe not north of Clearwater. Now for our adopt a block program where we're going out and we're mowing yards and we're taking the food and stuff like that to our distribution sites, that's primarily in the unincorporated Leelman area, where our work crews go as well. But when it comes to case management or food, the workforce training program, we're not restricted to any zip code or area in that sense. Typically, now sometimes our collaborative partner who's bringing in classes may be restricted to a zip code, but we are not. And if somebody shows up hungry, we don't we don't really care where they live. So we're going to take care of them.
Yeah, Gary, I got a question. Is it any fees for the work readiness program for the students? Do they need, is there any fees for those particular programs?
So I guess the short answer is yes, there's a cost to it. We are working to to have some scholarship available for community residents. And we've been doing that this season for sure for forklift. We've been helping people get in. And then for the bigger classes and for the NCCER, there's we collaborate with partners that have the vocational resources so they can filter through those programs, and then the scholarships that we're building. We're working with some um, local business folks to make sure that even in the classes that we bring in that we can have at least a few spots available for those that for the community clients that are just coming out of homelessness and that really need that extra help. So that's something we're actively working on to make more of those spaces available.
The reason I ask because we just hired a metropolitan ministry, a employment educational case manager. So, do you mind if I kind of just give him your information and y'all can kind of talk?
Would
He
love
may
that.
be able to
Absolutely.
provide some assistance. Okay, all right, we'll do.
No, we absolutely, please.
Oh, I love this, making connections.
Yes,
Um,
that's what it's about, right?
yes, and we have one question in the chat, and then we're going to move on to the next presentation. Rachel Adams asks, does work readiness assist with resume writing?
Man, you guys are asking good questions because it's stuff I forgot to say. So thank you again. So with that work readiness, of course, we have the classes, but we also help with resume writing, do some mock interviews. We definitely try to prep people for interviews. We help with the job search and we help with job placement as well. And on the backside of that job placement, we try to stay in touch and follow up with both the employers and the employee as well, so we can come along beside and continue to offer services where they're needed.
Great. Thank you so much, Gary. Everyone else, if you have any more questions for Gary and workforce readiness that the Florida Dream Center provides, please put it in the Q&A, which you can find at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And I'm going to introduce Sherry Holzbacher, the HLA interim CEO, and she's going to take over from here.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you for covering for me. Zoom did not like me. I had all the passwords, still would not let me in, so I wasn't saying it nicely, apparently. But Gary, thank you as well. I have a son who operates a forklift and it scares the heck out of me. And so I would love to have, it sounds like he needs your trainer, but that's another story.
He's a
Uh,
good one.
Sounds like it. Thank you. I think he was just given the keys and left to go on his own device, and that's not the way to go.
That's how a lot of people learn, but it's
Yeah, yeah. I'll just cross fingers and warn everyone to stay away from him. I've seen him drive. But thank you very much, Gary. So next up we have Youth Education Services, and that's with Erica Gist. She's the homeless liaison with the Pinellas County Schools, and she works with the Helping Educate All in Transition, or HEAT team, the program there that provides educational and social work services to children, youth, and families in transition. So Erica, are you on?
I am here.
Good to see you. Thank you. I'll
Hmm.
let you take it away.
Okay, so will somebody be able to advance the slides? Perfect. So again, yes, I'm Erica Gist. I'm the homeless liaison with Pinellas County Schools. So we are the entire school district. So we are from very South St. Pete all the way up through Tarpon. Um, HEAT stands for Helping Educate All in Transition. So we work with families that are in transition or are experiencing homelessness. A lot of times we try to get away from calling them homeless families. So we usually say families in transition, families experiencing homelessness, or we call them our MVA families, which I will explain MVA a little bit more in a few minutes. We can go to the next slide. So our mission statement, the mission of the HEAT program is to support and advocate for educational success of students experiencing homelessness by implementing the federal McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act and referring to community programs and services. So that's why we call them the MVA families. It stands for the federal act that we operate under, which is the McKinney-Vento Act. It is a federal program. It was enacted in 1987 and reauthorized again in 2015. So we have a couple of main themes under this federal program that we operate under. So school access and stability, we try to provide one child, one school, 1 year. So we try our very best to keep a child in the same school for the duration of the school year. We know our families are very mobile, so we work closely with them to get addresses updated and try our very best to provide transportation. The act aims to eliminate barriers that can delay or prevent homeless students access to public education. So it delineates homeless students' rights. They have the same exact rights as their housed peers. So we want to keep it equitable and quality. So it gives families special rights in school enrollment, transportation, health services, and social services. So they have the right to immediate enrollment, and I'll talk about more of that in a few minutes. We also support academic success. So we provide academic support, academic tutoring in various locations throughout the community. Because of the federal act, it helps with elevated attendance rates and also it reduces enrollment related issues. Um, this is a federal act, so it comes down from the federal government to the state government to local districts. Every local district in the United States has to have a homeless liaison. And that homeless liaison has to make sure and guarantee that we are in compliance with the federal laws and that everything is being implemented correctly. Research shows that each time that a child changes schools, it can take that child 3 to 6 months to recover academically. So that's the reason we try to keep them in the same school for the entire year. So if the child is meeting McKinney-Vento at the beginning of the school year, but then becomes permanently housed anytime during that school year, those protections stay in place and that child can remain at that school. For the next school year, then the child would attend the school, their zone school where they are now permanently housed. So even if they do become permanently housed during the year, we still allow them to stay at their school and we try our very best to provide transportation. We can go to the next slide. So this is just a copy of the school board policy. So the Homeless Education Act is written into school board policy as well. Okay, next slide. So with McKinney-Vento, our definition of homelessness is a lot broader than the HUD definition. First thing we have to ask ourselves, does it lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence? So when we look at homelessness, we base it on nighttime residence. Is it fixed, regular, and adequate? So our definitions under McKinney-Vento is sharing housing due to financial hardship. So sometimes it's called double up or couch surfing, but again, it's due to economic hardship. It's not going to be an arrangement, but evictions, loss of jobs, those types of things. Also living in motels, hotels, trailer parks, camping grounds, substandard housing due to lack of adequate alternative accommodations, living in emergency and transitional shelters, and abandoned in hospitals. Next slide. Also living in public or private places not designed for humans to live, living in cars, parks, abandoned buildings, bus or train stations, and migratory children living in any of the above circumstances. Also, if they're living in a home and the home has holes in the roof, that's substandard living conditions, or there's no hot water, or there's holes in the floors. All of those are substandard conditions and qualify under McKinney-Vento. Homeless unaccompanied youth are youth that meet any of the above definitions that we just spoke about, but they are also not in the physical custody of a parent or legal guardian. We have quite a number of homeless unaccompanied youth here in Pinellas County. Sometimes it's due to death, sometimes it's due to incarceration, sometimes parents unfortunately just leave. So these children are sometimes with relatives, a lot of times grandparents, aunts, older siblings. Sometimes it's just a neighbor or a friend. But they still qualify under unaccompanied homeless youth. Wow, that looks totally different than what I had it under. So this graph is just showing the trend for our McKinney-Vento numbers starting in the 2008-2009 school year through the 2024-2025 school year. So before I get into the numbers, this the act or the state looks at our free and reduced lunch rate. And a rule of thumb is when you look at the free and reduced rate, 10% of that number could possibly meet McKinney-Vento status, could possibly be living in transition. So the state says that we should be able to identify 5%. So going back just to the 22-23 school year, we identified 8.5%. The 23-24 school year, we identified 8.65%. Last school year, we identified 9.36%. So our homeless student identification rate is growing. Already this school year, we've identified 3.9%. So we haven't hit our 5% yet, but it's still within the first month of school. And our numbers are growing daily. Each school year, we start at 0. So when the new school year starts, we have to re-identify and identify students again. We can go to the next slide. So HEAT provides assistance with school selection. So when with families in transition, they have the right to school of origin, which is the school in which the child was last housed when they lost housing. So they have the right to school of origin or the zone school. Those are the only two schools that they may attend. They cannot just pick a school in the county that they want to attend. School of origin or the zone school. They have the right to immediate enrollment, even if they are lacking any needed documentation. So if they do not have their shot records, they do not have a birth certificate, they don't have uniforms, all of those are barriers. They have time to get those things. They have a right to be enrolled immediately. If they show up at the school at 8:30, they have a right to be enrolled and in a seat that day. The HEAT program also verifies homeless status for transportation to the school of origin. The school will request the bus. So the school works very closely with the HEAT program to identify students. Our team is very small, so it's myself, our office clerk, and we have 2 social workers. The 2 social workers split the district. So identifying the number of students that we do, that's a lot for 4 people. So each school has what we call an MVA contact. It's usually a social worker or a counselor, and they are trained by our staff, and they're an extension of us. So each school has an immediate contact on campus. If they run into problems or issues or anything, then they reach out to us for support. If we find out if a student has moved out of zone and they need assistance getting to school while we're setting up a bus, then sometimes we can offer a gas card to the parent to help them bring them to school. Because usually it takes about 3 to 5 days to get a bus set up. Or students can ride the city bus for free, but the parents can't. So we can provide the parents a bus pass to accompany the child to and from school until we can get the bus set up. But that is only offered if they are eligible for a Pinellas County school bus. Also, once they meet McKinney-Vento status, they qualify for a free lunch. We also have a limited amount of school supplies that we can help with. We have limited help with gift cards that have been donated, school supplies and backpacks. We also provide professional development to staff in the school system. We do community presentations and we inform parents of their rights under McKinney-Vento Act. You can go to the next slide, please. So I spoke about this earlier. There's school-based McKinney-Vento contacts. So again, it is the social worker or school counselor, and they work very closely with the HEAT program, also with the DMT, which is the data management technician, and they are the ones that would be helping with assisting with updating the address and requesting the bus. Also working closely with the school nurse, and the school nurse will work with the families to help with getting immunizations or birth certificates. Also with getting, if they need to get into a clinic or somewhere to get those immunizations. Family and community liaisons, and also the school administration. We can go to the next slide. We partner with a lot of different programs. We have different referral processes. So we work closely with students and families in shelters. We work closely with Family Works program. Close to Kids, we refer out to a lot. We refer out to ELC and Head Start. And we also work closely with St. Petersburg College. So we are the educational side of homelessness. So unfortunately, we cannot house people. So all we can do is refer out. So our goal is to develop additional referral processes with other collaborative partners and community health services. So we're always looking for partners in the community that we can refer out to or work with. On the next slide. Okay. How can heat help? So again, we refer out to 1-1 Tampa Bay Care, social service agencies, shelters, food pantries, close to kids. We do not provide case management. We cannot do housing or rental funding. We don't do utility funding, and we don't do bus or gas cards if they are not eligible for Pinellas County Schools transportation. So a lot of times for additional services, we refer out. So I'm always looking for other agencies that we can partner with and refer families to. You can help us make connections for families and remove barriers to education of our MVA students. So if you have a service or your community partner that you think that you would be able to partner with us, the next slide has our contact information. Please reach out. So again, that's the website for the HEAT program, our office phone number. My name is Erica Gist. I'm the homeless liaison and the grant monitor. Brenda Johnson is our clerk, and our two social workers are Joanne Mercier and Amanda Rio, and our supervisor is Lisa DiPaolo. Any questions for me? I know there's a lot of information in a very short amount of time.
If anyone does have a question for Erica, she did have a lot of really great information. If we could hold those for the end of the presentations or put them in the Q&A. We did get started a few minutes or a few minutes late, so we are going to have to move on to our next presenter. But yes, please put any questions you have for Erica and the HEAT team in the Q&A box, or you can email me and I'll put my email address in the chat again for you, and I can forward the questions on to Erica.
Also, my email is on there as well. It's
Yes.
giste@pcsb.org.
That works too. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, next we have reentry programs and services. And so we have PERC, which is People Empowering and Restoring Communities. They have Brandy Stroh, who's a PERC counselor. And PERC helps the offender become an ex-offender and remain an ex-offender, reunited with family through advocacy, education, programming, and comprehensive service delivery and referral.
I couldn't unmute myself. Yes, I got it.
Oh, no problem. We understand how tech works. Thank you so much.
Yes. If you can go to the next slide, please. And the next slide, apparently. Okay. PERC has several different my mind just went blank. I'm so sorry. I'm not a very good speaker. But anyway, I'll just get into it. So we are partnering with St. Pete Works and the Second Chance Tiny House program. This is a pre-release and community-based construction advanced manufacturing training program that we do. This has stacked certifications, and anybody interested in these programs in the community-based versions can reach out to us. We have the contact information later. Florida Hires, these are programs and services that we offer. Florida Hires with the tiny house and low voltage training. In part, what funds the pre-release training is the Florida Hires. This program, we're developing a new training program, which is the low voltage training. And this training is going to be focused more on pre-release population than the community. Another program is the St. Petersburg Hub program, and we're in partnership with them and the Gulf Coast Jewish Community Family Services. This is designed as a one-stop shop for mental health, substance abuse, or any other kind of case management needs. Potential clients in St. Petersburg can go to 1601 16th Street South for any mental health, substance abuse, or case management needs. And it's pretty much open-ended to anybody who lives in St. Petersburg. We have the outpatient substance abuse groups, and we work with DOC clients on probation, providing outpatient substance abuse treatment and using the seeking safety guidelines within those groups. Groups are offered in multiple locations in Tarpon Springs, South St. Pete, Clearwater. We have those in Newport Richey, and I believe Zephyr Hills as well. The Continental Housing Program, which is in Clearwater, is a self-paid dual occupancy for homeless individuals with a criminal background or probation stipulations. We provide case management services for them in order to help with reentry, food stamps, bus passes, that type of thing. It's $850 a month for that, and we do not take families or any minors on this property. We also here at the Continental have a transition in place program. We are partnered with the VA to house high-income homeless veterans with eviction history, a criminal history, substance abuse history, dual diagnosis. The VA pays for 6 months while the vet works with the case manager to reach goals, buying a car, paying off debt, getting a job, purchasing a house, that kind of thing. After 6 months, the veteran has an opportunity to rent the apartment he's staying in or she are staying in. They transition in place and they sign a lease for $1,300 a month for the first year. And then the rent will increase for any subsequent year that they're here. Typically, we have veterans who've been here for years, you know. We also are contracted with HEP, the Homeless Empowerment Program, to ensure that the needs of the grant per diem, the GPD veterans that are housed there have their needs met as far as mental health and things like that. Another program is the Cohort of Champions. This is an initiative for middle school and high school age kids in South St. Petersburg to help them with pro-social activities, learning about employment opportunities, yoga, different things associated with that. There's also support for the parents of those kids as well. That's tied to the HUB program. Then we have IDEA, Pinellas Harm Reduction Program, and the Syringe Exchange. That's in St. Petersburg as well at the Welsh Plaza. That's part of the Pinellas County Solution for Opioid Addiction. This includes counseling, wound care, helping people get into treatment, as well as safe syringe exchange. We're hoping to expand that into North County next year if we can figure out the funding for it. We were granted opioid abatement funds in St. Petersburg, and we have received that grant for the IDEA Pinellas in St. Petersburg from the city. We have general case management. That's for people who have are criminally justice involved or not. So anybody who needs case management services can come to our location either in South St. Pete or the Continental in Clearwater. The programs that, oh, we can change the slide. Yeah, I'm sorry. The new programs for 2025, 2026, because some of them are going to be coming in 2026. We have vocational rehabilitation. We're working on becoming voc rehab provider to offer more training services for underserved populations. And we're in the process with voc rehab right now to establish that. The Empowering People program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, for pro-release training. The federal grant we received is for people who are criminally justice involved. It's pre and post-release training program. It's also in support of the low voltage and tiny house program. So if anybody knows anybody, or we know anybody that has pre-release who needs services, they can reach out to our career specialist, Rich Alvarez, and we'll have his information. We also have a PERC CASA tiny home project. So we are partnering with CASA to build a tiny house village and a family justice center off Turner Street in Clearwater. It's in the works now, but it'll probably be 2026 with the opening date. We have the ZAC Initiative Transportation Program. That initiative that's going to be working on getting people to and from work. That's launching in the next month or so from different locations, including HEP, SPC here, and several other places. The opioid abatement funds I've discussed. We have a new social enterprise. We're creating an enterprise specifically geared toward training and opportunities in plumbing, electrical, and AC for people with backgrounds. That's something that we're actively trying to launch right now. Feeding Tampa Bay and Pinellas training program. We have a commercial kitchen here at the Continental in Clearwater, and we're actively working toward creating that kitchen to assist with culinary arts program. We're not sure if Feeding Tampa Bay is going to be in that with us, but we're hoping. So that's going to lead toward more employment with the service industry, specifically in the culinary arts. And then the federally qualified health center. So we're looking to open our own lab and considering opening our own pharmacy because of the work we've done with IDEA Pinellas and the wound care. And because of that, we're going through the process where we can look into helping federally qualified health centers, both in North and South counties, in support of the clients that we work with. The final one is Operation New Hope. We are partnering with Operation New Hope in St. Petersburg for the criminally justice involved, whether it's getting them ready for work, helping them with employment, but it also includes housing. So we have some rooms available here, and they pay for the first 3 months to get people on their feet and get them in jobs. Justice impacted. Yes, I like that. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. And that's all I have for now. They didn't give me a slide with the contact information, but I'll put our contact information in the chat.
Thank you very much, Brandy. Yes, any questions that you have? Again, we want to make sure we had extra speakers tonight to share their resources. And so if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll make sure to get them back to Brandy, or of course, you can always respond here as well. Thank you very much. There is one question though I want to touch on before we go. Brandy, you don't get off the hook that easy. How can someone send a referral?
So typically, they either call one of us. It really depends on what the referral is for. So we have, like, I do the housing program as well as the GPD program, as well as assessments for anger management, sex offender, that kind of thing. So it just really depends on what the referral is for. And once we know that, then we can send it to the right place. But I'll put all our information for the different referral process in the chat. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next, we have legal aid resources. And so the community law program. is here. It provides free civil legal services to financially eligible Pinellas County residents and qualified nonprofit organizations by recruiting, training, and it's all written right here, and I'm just reading it out loud, and supporting volunteer attorneys and law students within the community. We have Rachel Stranger, who's the executive director, and we have Brooks Fusselman, who is the staff housing attorney.
I think it's Stanger for
Thank you.
Rachel.
Oh, oh, I'm so
No,
sorry. You know
you're
what?
okay.
Wait till I board.
It's all good. It's
Kim
hard
is going to get me.
with the ribbon of names up there. I get it. No
Well,
worries.
especially because it doesn't help that my first name starts with an R, so you just read in the stranger.
I mean, you are a stranger to some people here, so
It is
it's
a
good.
Stinger. I apologize. Thank you so much. Take it
Okay.
away. Thank you.
I was going to share my screen, but I was locked out of it, so I'll send you guys a
You
pretty
should
PowerPoint afterwards.
you should be good to go now,
Oh,
Rachel. I'm
great.
sorry
All right,
about
cool.
that.
You're good. All right, perfect. All right, so we are Community Law Program. You guys know Kim Rogers well. She is my predecessor who really built the Community Law Program over the last 20 years, and we are here in her shadow and her footsteps. We are one local legal aid within Pinellas County. And then I'll send this all to you later, but we were formed about 36 years ago by members of the St. Pete Bar Association, and part of our mission is not just to do pro bono legal assistance representation, but it's also to educate our community about legal rights and responsibilities and do community outreach, which we're really excited about. This is our 22nd presentation this year, I counted. I'm really excited to be building upon that and getting out there. So definitely call us if you have any small or large topic that you want us to present on a legal way. Here's some pictures of us and who we are and what we do. As you can tell, again, we're legal aids. There's not like a lot of fun pictures that we can show and talk about, but a little variety, a little courtroom, little interviewing and counseling, and a picture of some of our volunteers as well as the judges that we work with. And since we're short on time, I'll let you guys read that later. We are located right in the heart of downtown, right between the South County Civil Courthouse and the almost new, almost ready second DCA. We're right next to a bunch of free bus stops as well. And most of the stuff that we do is virtual as well. So we are all about accessibility for our clients and for those that need help for us. So getting to the who we help. Depending on what our grant funding is, we help anyone whose household is about 200% of the federal poverty guidelines, which I know you guys are all familiar with, that have assets less than 5,000. We have some grants that allow more. For example, we do have an heirs probate project within the city of St. Pete that allows 125% AMI. So if you're a resident of South St. Pete CRA, we can help make sure that the house that's been in your family forever can go through with a really high income limit, as well as making sure that everyone in the CRA, it's our goal to have everyone that lives there to get a free will and free advanced directives through us as well. That's a qualifying rate for that. I thought this statistic was pretty interesting. Some of you may be familiar with our Pinellas Eviction Diversion Program that got preempted by the governor. We're still doing a ton of housing, and Brooks here is our housing attorney as well. I thought it was really interesting to see the increase after COVID that we went up to 56% of our cases now on average are within housing law. We have two different clinics each week in housing as well as having Brooks on staff here too. In addition, what our main areas of law are also family law, probate and estate capacity plan, like I mentioned. We do bankruptcy and consumer law as well, and a lot of other civil areas, such as when people are getting scammed, falls in consumer. We do rights restoration and expungements, basically anything that falls within the civil there. And I wanted to point out too, while we are in St. Pete, almost half our cases are not in St. Pete, in Pinellas. So we serve everyone in Pinellas County, or if your civil legal case has the venue in Pinellas County. So sometimes people may live in Tampa, but their case is with Judge Hellinger in St. Pete. We can help out. Again, you guys can see this later. The way we help people is that we have about 20 legal advice clinics every single month on different topics that we use volunteer attorneys for. So it's kind of like getting a free consultation with an expert in the field. We also represent people on a pro bono basis. So Brooks often goes to housing court on motions to determine rent, as often as the court will allow us to have them, as well as family law and probate and things like that. Again, I mentioned before our community education outreach. We have special projects that we do as well. One that is assisting young adults aging out of the foster care program any civil help that they may need through age 26, we're there to help them with, whether it's that they entered into a bad contract where they have a 200% interest rate to buy a puppy, or they don't know how to sign a lease. We're there to help them with anything they may need, amongst other ones too. So here is our clinic schedule. As you can see, there's a lot of them, and we are mostly remote with a combination of in-person as well. Almost every single day, we have some kind of clinic going on. And I'd like to make a pitch too. If you guys see a legal need out there that we're not covering, or that our partners at Bay Area or Gulf Coast Legal Service are covering, please let us know, because we'd love to make sure that we assist people more. For example, too, we also assist homebound clients and terminally ill end-of-life patients that may not be otherwise able to leave their home to get, for example, an advance directive. Not everyone does that, and it's an important thing to have. Yeah. Here's a couple of our special projects and a picture of Kim, like I always like to throw in there too. Do you want me to take a question right now, real quick, from Andrew?
It was up to you. I was just
Yeah, sure.
raising a hand. So I do apologize. I've been kind of multitasking right now, but what is the name of the law firm?
It's Community Law Program.
Okay, so it's a program that is connected with which law firm?
No, we're legal aid. So we're a nonprofit law firm. So we started off as a pro bono project of the St. Pete Bar exam in the 80s. And now we are similar to, like, you probably know Bay Area Legal Service or Gulf
Yes,
Service.
yeah, I know.
We're the same thing. We're just like
Personally, I
their
know them.
yeah, we're just like their cute little sister size wise. And the three of us work really closely together to make sure that we're covering everyone that we can in Pinellas County. For
Okay.
example, Bay Area does a lot with veterans. Gulf Coast does a lot with immigrants.
Okay.
We all have our own kind of projects. We do a lot with, for example, our heirs probate project in Pinellas County. But it's a good question, because people don't really know us because we're so much
Well,
smaller.
and
Yeah.
also, I do want to preface this with that social service is new to me.
Oh,
So all of the, I don't know. I know Bay Area because I was a part of United Way Suncoast, but I'm not really sure with when I'm dealing with a client that needs legal services. I've reached out to different ones, and not every service can really provide, you know.
well, it's true, but we also have a referral matrix between us. So, for example, we do something called guardian advocacy projects. And so we assist families to make sure their developmentally disabled adults or children who will become adults can be helped without getting a full-blown guardianship. That's not something that all the other ones do as well. Or, example, we don't touch immigration at all. So we refer those over to Gulf Coast when they're eligible for it.
Right. So my question is because so Gulf Coast, or if I call like Florida Hope, I think it's called one of
Florida Hope's not a
those.
legal aid, no. Not that I know of. No.
Okay.
Yep.
So if I call any legal aid, any resources, I'm speaking from, let's just say I'm just in this meeting as, a community person. So I need to reach out to legal aid. So you're saying that you're affiliated with these other legal
We work in
entities,
partnership with
like,
them. So we are separate organizations. We have some grants that are overlapping as other services do, and we refer between each other. We're in meetings frequently about it. We go to conferences together. We're very collaborative with each other.
okay.
Figuratively speaking, we're kids playing in the same sandbox,
Yes.
But
Okay, yeah,
we
I'm
are
sorry.
our
Yeah.
own kid.
My brain
Right,
works
we're
through
not the
different
right
ways.
arm. We're our own kid,
Yeah.
but we're in the same sandbox.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks, Brooks. Sometimes I need those like.
It's all good. No,
Understand the connections
when
there.
I signed up here, I was confused about exactly what we were.
Yeah.
I read
Thank
our
you,
origin
thank you.
story and it was kind of fuzzy. It's all good. No worries.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
No problem. And again, we're happy to help people as well. When you do call us. So I always like to make a pitch because you guys know Kim Rogers too. She created our award-winning Pinellas Eviction Diversion Program, which unfortunately got preempted. And so we can no longer do mediations pre-suit because of the laws up in Tallahassee, preventing them from doing it in Pinellas County. But we still also, with our housing, Brooks does not work alone. He has people that help him and help our clients connect with resources for rental assistance and help them with their application in time of need. We don't have rental assistance ourselves, but we want to make sure that we're giving them resources and kind of holding their hand for those that need it, and we have the ability to do so. And so if anyone does have rental assistance, we really prefer to work with people who are doing the rental assistance. I'll speak on behalf of Brooks, because we can interview, because Brooks can negotiate and our other attorneys can negotiate with the landlords when there's money involved. We can make sure that be on top of the cases and help make sure that the money is going to the tenants and not to the landlords on these kind of instances.
Yeah, and also reach out to our office too, because we've been going, like Rachel said, to a lot of these community events. We have quite a bit of, well, we're not per se, we don't specialize in job resources or training individuals. We have collected a lot of resources to direct people to those entities. Like the very first presenter, I think perhaps you were at the Pinellas County Works event that was in like August. Anyways, there were some other organizations that, offer stuff, whether it be training to get new skills, or if you have a prior conviction, how to explain it, or there are certain employers where they're okay with those types of, things
Right.
on your criminal record. They'll still work with you, because that is a big part of the component, like how we're related to the homelessness component is like essentially uh, we are what happens right before it. But also too, people reach out to us before the eviction suits are filed, and we want to try to get people to bounce back. And typically, like the strongest indicator of sustainability, as it's often called with the rental assistance agencies, is employment. So getting a well enough paying job with enough hours. Um, you know,
And buying time on the eviction side until they can get their first check. Because that's
right.
part
And
of our
that
job
that's
too.
that's the legal part. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the legal
we,
part
we,
that we
Or
we
have
try to
to.
help
build.
with both, right? Because
Yeah, they
I can
can
help with
build
the lawsuit
some.
some, but
Right.
yeah, sometimes it's a matter of helping people find jobs. So we try to help with that, or we try to point people in some of your guys' directions too.
Yeah.
And we love to look to, before people necessarily sign leases, they're welcome to ask questions to us about maybe what it means, or if they should. You can always try to say no or something, but it's always better to object to a lease or to ask a question before you sign it. So if you're assisting individuals and they found housing and they're curious, does it look right? They're welcome to, to give
Come
a
see us for
warm
a clinic
referral,
beforehand.
as we call it, right? And your organization could kind of refer the case in, kind of give a succinct summary of what they need help with.
Yeah. And as a lot of you on this call know, in Florida, unfortunately, you can go from not paying your rent to evicted in about 2 weeks because of the summary procedure. So we count our victories in the number of days we get to keep our tenants in and the amount of rent that they don't have to pay back. And so
I
we
I
don't,
do have another question. I'm sorry. So are you guys a law firm in terms of you represent, or you just give advice? And are you licensed to practice in the state, or are you
We are licensed to
just
practice, and
JDs?
the other one is it depends. Sometimes we represent, sometimes we don't. More often than
yep.
not, we don't get involved to the point where the representation is necessary. But again, it depends. Sometimes it
It
is
depends.
Okay.
necessary.
It depends on the subject matter, but yes, Brooks and I are both licensed attorneys, as there are
Awesome.
five other
Okay.
attorneys on staff and about 150 volunteers on a regular basis with us, all
Right.
licensed attorneys.
Cool. Thank you guys. I'm sorry I kind of took over the last
You're
seven
fine. It's
minutes,
important
which seemed
questions.
like 2 hours to some people, but I just had a couple questions. I just work with a lot of clients that have legal issues, and I've worked with other obviously providers in the community, but I was just interested. And also I'm close with Rich, like I've communicated with Rich and the Hub and different community providers. So I was just trying to ask questions. I
No, it's
apologize
good
if it
because we
was a
All
actually
good.
little.
we're lawyers and so we speak like lawyers. So it's always good
Yeah.
to make sure that we're
Okay.
staying
Thank
on
you.
task.
Exactly. So you
Yeah,
guys are okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we get
And
it.
yeah. And so I include some flyers in there and I can send them out to you too. And so thank you guys for supporting us. If you want to contact, I added Crystal's email on here. She's a perfect person if you want us to come. Brooks loves to teach especially rental assistance navigators all about landlord tenant law and answer all your questions. But I like listening to it too. So please do call and talk to us and follow up and we're here for you.
Yeah, preferably I would avoid picking up new cases because people learn a couple things by asking questions at events. It's easier to handle things before a lawsuit's filed, but it's hard to stand up for your rights if you don't know what your rights are in the first place.
Yep.
So I enjoy informing people about what their rights are, and then if they've been violated, like how to go about walking the path to get some sort of compensation, typically maybe getting out of the lease or maybe getting the lease or the rent reduced, maybe getting a security deposit back or whatever it may be, or just general advice.
Thank you all.
Was that a question?
Oh, there was another screen that was showing, I believe. So I wanted to share with everyone that all the PowerPoints will be sent out in the constant contact to all attendees after the meeting. And any questions that you have, go ahead and put them in the Q&A and we will follow up with those. But we thank you so much, Rachel and Brooks, and I will make sure to get the last name right in the future. Don't tell
Good.
them.
Oh,
If
no
she's
problem
here.
at all. No problem at all.
Nice to
You
meet
you
you,
got the
though.
more difficult last name right,
Yeah,
to your
possibly.
credit.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, so that probably outweighs
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so much. We have one more presentation on resources available in this topic area, and it's by the Metro Brigade. The mobile outreach manager for Pinellas County is Lucero Hernandez, and the Metro Brigade mobile outreach team seeks to meet you where you are, help address your immediate needs, and link you to the resources that can end your homelessness situation. So, Lucero,
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
Thank you, Sherry. That was perfect. If you want to take over the presentation, that'd be great too.
Nope.
My name is Lucero, and as Sherry said, I'm the manager for the Pinellas Brigade Mobile Outreach Team. Next slide, please. Thank you. So specifically, we work with individuals that are literally homeless. We work with individuals. We do not work with households that have minor children in the household. We will still provide services if there's services that they need. However, that is not our specialty. So individuals with no minor children in the household is our targeted program. Targeted population. We are a street outreach team, so we are out in the community, all the way from Tarpon Springs down to Gulfport. We have the capability to go all over Pinellas County. So that is us. In this picture, you can see some of my team members. There are 5 of us total, including myself. So like I said, we're out there in the community. Some of the services that we provide are documentation readiness for folks. So making sure that they have access to obtain an ID. They've never had a Florida state ID. We can help them with their birth certificates. We can help apply for food stamps and Medicaid. We are SOAR certified. So we can also provide assistance with applying for disability. One of the other things that we can do, of course, is do shelter referrals to Pinellas Hope. Any other housing opportunities that we come across, we try to keep those in our back pocket for folks. When the housing wait lists open, we help them apply for those housing wait lists as well. We also provide travel assistance. I just realized it's not on this list, but what that means is if they have a family member that is outside of the city or outside of the state, we can help them with those transportation funds to get them there. Of course, it is a better program, so there's a lot that goes into it, so it may not always be immediate, but that is something that we can assist with as well. Anything and everything really is what we try to do. Sometimes all they need is just somebody to listen to them, somebody to treat them like a human being. So that is what we do. We try to go out of our way and do as much as possible, but maintaining, of course, that dignity. And we're just one very small program within the Metropolitan Ministries agency. So these are some of the sites that we're at. When we're not at some of these sites, we are out in the streets doing street outreach, of course. That's the next slide has our contact information as well. Yep. So our hotline is there, 727-756-1943. Anybody can call that line. If we don't answer, of course, please leave a voicemail. We will return that as soon as we can. Our email is also there available for folks. We monitor that hotline pretty frequently. So we will return your calls. And that's pretty much it. It's very short and simple, but very detailed in some of the services that we provide.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lucero. Since that was so brief, we did not know what to expect exactly here, but we ended up with some time left over, and we don't have to go all the way to 7. I know it's late in the evening, but I know that people do have questions, and so for any of our speakers who still remain, this is a good time now to open it up to questions that you may have. If you could just raise your hand, and if I could get Megan's assistance with calling on folks.
Yes, I did type a question in the chat that we came in the Q&A from Janine, and it's to Florida Dream Center. So Gary or Colette can answer this. Do you have any workforce readiness flyers that you can share for distribution?
Yes, I can do that. Who would I send them?
You can send them to me and I will share them with the attendees.
Yes,
Yep,
that'd be awesome. Okay, well, I'll get that done
thank you.
either tonight or first thing in the morning.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Oh, Lauren, are you asking about volunteer positions? Or if the agencies that presented tonight accept volunteers? Okay. Okay,
I can
everybody.
speak for the Florida Dream Center. We're always looking for volunteers.
PERC also accepts volunteers. We just go through a process because of the population that we serve at some of the locations.
I will email some volunteer opportunities brochure along with their work readiness.
Great. Thank you, Gary. And then at least,
Lucero just
yeah.
added. Lucero just added for Metropolitan Ministries where to a link in the chat to where to go if you're interested in volunteering. As the Florida Dream Center. There we go. Good.
Yes. Yeah. And I will collect all this information and send it out to everyone who attended tonight. So don't worry about writing everything down really quickly. All right.
Okay.
I don't see any hands up or any other questions in the chat.
Well, then I believe that everyone is ready to call it a day and get some rest. So thank you again for all the wonderful information that was shared tonight and everyone's dedication to show up after hours, late into the evening, to discuss these resources and ask your good questions. We know there was a lot of information that was covered. Again, it will be shared via constant contact to attendees as well as on our calendar. If you look back on the HLA website.
Yep.
Right? Yes, HLA website. We also have the CoC website, all here.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Applications and brochures available on the Pinellas CoC website as well. That's a newer link, so I need to get used to saying that. But all this information will be made available, and the recording will also be made available as well.
I have a quick question. I'm so sorry. How do you follow up on your CoC application? I've been doing it for months now. I'm sorry to just speak like this. Who do you email to follow up?
So Sherry, that's probably the pending applications.
Oh, the pending application. Oh, okay. Well, if you email info at
Okay.
PinellasHomeless.org, it will get, then I will see it. But
Thank
because
you.
right now we are in the middle of some changes with who owns that, where the home is. However, so I'll be able to follow up on that. I will say though that we did just it goes through a process, it gets approved internally, and then goes to the CoC board and gets approved as well. And so we did just send out a batch just this last week. So hopefully, actually, I'm taking down your name. Megan's getting your name right now too, so we can go check
Thank
and see where
you.
it's at and
Yeah,
get in touch. But if you don't
thank
hear
you.
anything, then please do email me directly. Or if you do the info at, I'll get it. Thank you. Is it Shansia?
Yes, that's my name, Shamsia.
Shansia,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Sherry.
All right, great. Well, yep, like Sherry said, I will send out the recording and all of this lovely information. Thank you everyone for sharing, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.